Yo, YouTube land, how you doing?
We're here for our last sitting of RE2 Remake, and I'm pretty excited. This part's pretty cool. I'm doing the sewers in like the hardest way possible, so we need 2 hand grenades, 2 flash grenades, and our enhanced SLS bullets. And that's it.
So this is the last set down of Resident Evil 2, and the next game Trevor's playing is not a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I'm taking a small break from horror games because I'm going to do the comfiest, most feel-good game in the world. Probably do 2 sit-downs, maybe 3, but probably 2.
And
then after that, doing more horror games for Complete and Shocks. Remember that?
I hope you enjoy. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Well, actually, it's easier now since when we do videos, we're like only a week behind. You know, generally, like, this is, what day is today? September 25th. This will probably be up, like, October 1st or something like that. Just because I only put 1 video up a day. And sometimes I forget days. Anyway, I'm also finishing up the PS2 game Raw Danger. The one game that you've seen pop up on your feed over and over again, because we're at part 15.
You know, we have 1 or 2 super fans, though, because that game is awesome.
And you just looked at it and you go, no. And I don't blame you, but if you did actually watch it, it is highly enjoyable. It's 15 parts, but probably only, like, maybe 4 or 5 hours, because a lot of the parts are kind of short. Anyway, so I'm finishing that. I've been doing that for literally, like, 2 months.
It feels... I'm pretty sure it's been, like, 3.
So it's a changing of the guard. No Resident Evil games next week. I'm kind of at a crossroads, folks. I'm gonna be for real, because I could, like, there's 3 ways I'm leaning, and if you don't mind me going into this right now, Trev, because there's a lot of Resident Evil story going on right now.
Yeah, just real quick,
Yep.
We are doing the G-Adult hallway in the hardest way possible, where we're only doing it with defensive grenades. So this isn't super hard if you know what's going on, but it can be pretty daunting. But the first G-Adult is right here. What we want to do is run past it this way. Got it. So if it gets stunned, like, in the middle, oh my god, I got the god RNG. Alright, so swap to the flash grenades.
Speedrunners are so mad right now.
Just gonna let this zombie grab me. And G-Adult is right behind me, so I wanna kill this guy right now.
Nice.
So, getting past the first G-Adult without getting grabbed, as long as your positioning is perfect, that is consistent, but it is hard. But the second G-Adult not grabbing you is pure RNG, and we got the God Run, fellas.
What relative percentage does that happen? Like,
I want to say, like, probably like 1/3 chance of not using a grenade.
That's not bad. So yeah, I'm at a crossroads, folks, because I've been playing Raw. It's like weird. Raw Danger's like I don't know. It's like you watch a really long show, like, I don't know, DBZ or something like that, and you finish it, and you're like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? So I have 3 ways I'm looking at this. The first is, for a little bit, I do random NES games that I always wanted to beat. Some off the top of my head are Fester's Quest, the Simpsons games, and I'm sure there's others. Just ones that, like, I haven't even tried to, like, learn. But I know that, like, it's not even a speedrun to say you could beat them in, like, a half hour, 45 minutes. So that's 1. 2 is just doing random Let's Tries for, like, random systems, like PS1, SNES, all that stuff, because I don't have to do any work for that. You know, that's the easiest. And the third is starting upon a big venture that involves my favorite system, and doing every game.
Oh my god, you're finally doing it.
For the Sega Saturn. I've realized that I'm never gonna have the time to do, like, originally I wanted to, like, write up almost like a Nintendo thing.
So with the Spark Shot, you can kill G-Adults in 1 hit, as long as you get that. As long as you attach the spark plug to the G-Adult and it doesn't have a covering. Otherwise, it's just a hard stun, so... I've said this before, but the spark gun is garbage. Most of the time, it doesn't even kill zombies in one hit, but it's very good against G-Adults. But it's too bad that after this hallway, we are completely done with G-Adults, so that's kind of useless.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's weird, because these are the toughest enemies, one of the toughest enemies in the game, but you really only see them in, like, 1 or 2 hallways.
Yeah, and they're so hard that you can't just have them out and about.
Yeah. Also, canonically, it makes sense for them to just be here.
But it's nice that we get a little bit of use out of the spark gun, because I really just pick it up to show it off, because otherwise it'd probably be easier just to do a route without it entirely.
So originally, I mean, this is, 2 or 3 years ago, I was gonna, like, do a write-up for each game, and I was trying to do it chronologically, because I really do like that idea. Just being like, this came out first. But the main problem is a lot of Sega Saturn games don't have a hard and fast release date, which sounds weird considering that every game that comes out now, it's like Pokemon Diamond coming out November 9th or whatever, but that's not really how it was back then.
Yeah, also the entire Saturn life cycle was a complete disaster.
Yeah. And, and like, specifically, so I borrowed...
Specifically for America, not Japan.
Yes. So I borrowed a bunch of video game magazines from a friend, and also, like, referenced a lot of my old video game magazines, trying to be like, oh, okay, are they going to be like, this came out on June 22nd, whatever, 1996. And that's not the case. And there's sometimes where I would pull out a GamePro and then an EGM, and, like, one would say, this game was released in July 97, and the other would say June 97. So you can't even, like work it down to the month. And even on Wikipedia and Moby Games and all this stuff, like, they don't have, hard and fast release dates for some games. And if they do, I can't trust them, because it's like...
So real quick, for whatever reason, the G-Adult that comes out of that right there sometimes just chills out over there for some reason.
Nice.
That's another, probably 50-50 chance of either it's at the location where it was attacking Claire, or it, defaults to that position for some reason. But I'm glad that we got it.
We got the God Run, folks.
But yeah, we're not going back to the RPD to pick up the secret enhancement for the submachine gun, because it wastes 10 minutes, and spoiler alert, it's just an extended barrel for it. It extends it from 24 bullets to 50 bullets, so that is peak boring. It's just not worth getting. I think I said while I was doing Leon that I'm going to show it off, but I'm not going to, actually.
So anyway, that's my rationale for not doing it chronologically. I don't want to, not lie, but, present, info I can't be, absolutely sure on. I don't know how Crontendo, knows, when all this stuff came out, specifically. But for something that came out only 25 years ago, when video games were, big, I don't feel right being this came out in May 96, So I'm just going to do it alphabetically. And originally I was going to, write a write-up and then record some gameplay and then just kind of talk over it, not do anything crazy. But I realized that with my lack of... hold on, I'm going to say it. My lack of time. Time. What time is it? Trevor, what time is it? Oh, is it 5:50? Oh my god, it's 5:50.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, AVGN. Remember that thing where they're recording James and Mike Mondays, and he's like, "Well, that's all the time we have. That's 5:50."
I've never really watched James and Mike Mondays.
It's a meme where they were playing this game and he had, and it was the time he had to finish was very weird, and he was like, "Oh, sorry," and he was really
gotta record my dad rock album.
Yeah. But anyway, that was a joke. It's not even really lack of time. It's just that I prefer to do other stuff. But I want to put...
It's a ton of effort for something that...
it's not going to get big. It's not going to make any money. It's just a passion project, but it's something where I can do the passion project just as part of LPs once a week. And there's about 280 games for the Saturn if you include all the demos and all that weird stuff. And I could potentially... It's going to come down to... I'm going to do it alphabetically. It's going to come down to some of the games are here's Madden 97. 15 minutes later, we're done. And then some will be here's Panzer Dragoon Saga. And, I might play the whole damn game. You know what I mean? So, it's,
Yeah, especially if you got to, something like a stall, and you didn't do the whole game, I'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them will be, quick. Either because the game is not interesting, or like a racing game or whatever, and some will be quick because it's too dang hard. Like, I can't see myself, like, finishing Clockwork Knight or something like that. So, those are the 3 places I'm at. I'm probably leaning towards doing random NES games for a little bit, just because I do have on my list, like, beat these certain games just because I want to say I did. I did that for a while, if you remember, last winter, when I was like, I'm going to beat Dracula on SNES, and I did. And I was like, I'm going to beat Tiny Toons 2, and I did. I want to beat Turtles 1 on NES.
Yeah, I'd be cool with NES ones. I'd also be really cool if you did Saw for Complete Shocks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know that's a lot of work.
That's really not that much work at all.
Actually, yeah, it's like playing through the game once. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's not like with Raw Danger, because it's like so non-linear sometimes, I had to like always play it ahead of time.
Why don't you do Saw, and then after that do NES games?
I think once I familiarize myself with Saw, and if I have like a FAQ next to me in case I get really... Like, it's very linear. It's very linear. The only thing that would stop me is like not knowing the puzzles.
I know that the puzzles, because I remember watching a video on this, like a YouTube video a couple years ago, but the puzzles are kind of randomized.
That's cool.
So that's cool, but also just doing a run, it's a little annoying.
I think I'm gonna play that on 360 because I think the PS3 version sucks hardcore.
Sherry, are you alright?
We're generally a Sony family. I do not ever want an Xbox One or a Series X or anything like that. It is what it is, you know? It doesn't appeal to me. And I really hate the operating system on it, or whatever you want it, dashboard or whatever. It's awful on the Xbox.
So Sherry got implanted by
Yep.
G.
William is still out there, and if I don't stop him, this conversation is over.
I think Sugar just like knocked over all of her food or something.
It's pretty cool.
And then I heard laughing upstairs.
I can treat her.
So it's hard to tell when Sherry got implanted.
I thought it was when she was with the chief.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't the case because she seemed so fine, but I don't know. Maybe she got implanted there and it happened off screen. It's hard to tell. Because in the original, Sherry definitely gets implanted while she's passed out in the sewers.
Yeah. I guess I just don't want to show it in this game.
I mean, it's pretty hardcore. I mean, all the G-adults that we see are humans that Birkin implants, but the reason why they become like hideous, like grotesque, fleshy monsters is because the embryo rejects the host, which is why William Birkin's so, in his G form, so obsessed with implanting his daughter, because it's the only like vessel that will accept the G embryo. And Sherry gets superpowers from this.
That is true. I forgot. RE6.
RE6 is a game that exists.
It exists. It exists.
It's too bad that Jill didn't get superpowers when got infected by Nemesis.
I completely forgot, because the story of any Resident Evil game after 4 is just like, whatever. Even 4's story is like, okay, whatever. I completely forgot that Oswald Spenser is literally in Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, dude.
Like a billion years old, and Wesker's like, Oswald Spencer, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, and they're in like some spooky, tropey
I
mansion.
completely forgot about that.
And they're talking about ascending the god. RE5's plot is pure trash. And it's not like, it's kind of funny, but it's like, you can understand why RE4 took the series in such a, like, side path that, like, didn't matter almost at all. I mean, you had Ada, and then Ada ultimately was, like, I guess just a sleeper agent for Wesker or Umbrella or something. Like, that's the only connection that 4 has to the rest of the series. But then 5 is, like, super self-indulgent. Wesker is God. It's just the worst plot in any game.
I definitely agree, except for RE6's plot is worse. But
yeah, that's true.
I will say, with the asterisk, that if you're playing with a human companion, RE5 is a really fun game.
Yeah, RE5 is like, it's really
a game, it's fun.
Yeah,
game.
It's literally co-op RE4, which is good and bad.
Now, if you don't play it with an actual person, it is not fun.
Yeah. At least RE6 made the AI, like, impervious to damage.
RE6 is only fun if you play it going into it going, this is bad, I want to play this with a buddy. If you play it to be like, oh, we gotta play a good co-op game, it's bad. If you play it going, this is like sitting down, playing RE6 with a friend is like Red Letter Media's best of the worst. You just watch a bad movie, you watch Plan 9 from Outer Space, and then you throw stuff at the screen, and you're like,
you half get frustrated, half laugh at it.
But if you go into RE6 being like, I heard that this is a good co-op game, oh my god. I mean, at least Revelations 1 doesn't have true co-op.
No.
It has a really weird, I played it with someone, it was really weird. Rev 2 has pure co-op, though.
Yeah, but
and that game's, honestly, I don't mind it. I really don't.
It's just too bad that in Rev 2, the co-op partner is either Mora, who literally refuses to wield a gun, or the little girl, who I forget her name.
Moira! And, oh dang, I forget the girl's name, too. Oh, jeez. Claire.
Remember in Rev 2 where they kind of alluded to the fact that that little girl was scarier? Remember Girl Wesker and how she was like an inhuman monster in that game? But there's, at the final chapter in the berry portion, Girl Wesker gets super scared of the little girl, implying that she's like something bad. But then Rev 2, there was never a sequel to it, so...
I'm gonna tell you one thing. That's pretty unique. Just imagine, if you will, like a little girl, right? Like you see a little girl, you're like, oh, they're cute, whatever. But imagine them being scary. Somebody take that idea to Hollywood and make a movie about it.
It's never been done before. It's the first time.
Yo, imagine this.
It's okay.
You buy a house, right? It's really cheap for some reason, and you buy it, and then you move in there, and it's haunted.
The more tropey one in recent years is, what if there's a person living in the walls?
The crazy thing about that is whether or not you believe in ghosts or not, and I tend to be on the side of Mike from Red Letter Media, of where he's like, I don't know if I believe in it or not, but I sure as hell ain't messing with it. Like, do I believe in it? I don't know, but are you going to use a Ouija board in my house? Hell to the no. Like, that's just asking for nonsense. Whereas, like, Jay from Red Letter Media would be like, I don't care. It's all bollocks.
I mean, I wouldn't explore a creepy, desolate, abandoned house. Not because I'm scared of ghosts, but because, like...
There could be, like, vagabonds in there being, like,
There
weird.
could be vagabonds or animals, or
Yeah.
the structure could literally fall apart. Like, that's the part that I'm scared of.
But
not
anyway,
ghosts.
to go back to my original point, it is definitely true that people have lived in, like, houses, like, in the crawl spaces for years without people knowing. And that's some weird beep, beep.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's...
It's so ridiculously rare.
I know at least a couple stories where it happened, but I understand. Like, you don't have to make every dang movie about
A couple stories in the history of humanity.
it. That we know of.
Ooh, I'm scared now.
Oh, man. But yeah, that's, that reminds me, I think tomorrow before football, I think I'm going to watch Evil Dead 2. And I think I'm just going to do it. Actually, I'm going to watch Evil Dead 1 first. My
Yeah,
bad.
I said this last week, but I watched Evil Dead 1 for the first time last
you
week.
didn't bring the Blu-ray.
You didn't say you wanted to borrow it.
Oh, let's go back to the... Here, editor. Edit in the part where I was like, oh, can I get the Blu-ray? And you were like, sure.
I will bet $20 you did not say that.
Go find it. Find which game it was. And what... It had to be RE. It had to be RE. I don't think it was Raw Major.
We talked about Evil Dead 1, and you were like, where'd you watch it on? I was like, I have the Blu-ray. And he's like, oh, I don't think it's on any like streaming service. But you did not say anything about being like...
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that was so close! Alright, so this zombie is one of the very few zombies that actually dies in one hit to the spark shot. Because it's wearing a suit that is like flame repellent, so you don't want to use like a flame round on him. But I think he just naturally has very little HP.
I just remember being like, can I please borrow it? And you were like, maybe.
You were on your hands and knees. Can I please borrow it, Trevor Sama? And I was like, no! And I slapped you in the face.
No! No, you were like, only if you finish your Haunting Ground LP. Well, I guess I'm never borrowing that. Because it's never happening.
Dude, I was thinking about this the other day, but I think Haunting Ground is the only horror game that literally makes me sick to my stomach. Because of, not only is it like just a horrible nightmare to play, but like the things that they put the main protagonist through, especially like the stalkers she has to deal with, it literally makes me sick to my stomach. I can't believe that game got like
I purged
published.
everything from my mind on that. Does she get like
Well, maybe one day we'll do it. But even Rule of Rose is about like an orphanage, like young kids, like super messed up things happen to them. But I respect Rule of Rose way more than Haunting Ground.
Hey, did you know that Rule of Rose is a rare game?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of that game.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show you a little clout.
Yeah, I have a copy. So this is where the second hip pouch is, because one thing about second run is that you're given the signal modulator very early, which is the thing that lets you turn on the electricity in the lab, and because of that, I literally think that second run lab is easier than the first run. Just because there's so little backtracking, you don't have to mess with lickers. They only change a single room and add like an Ivy zombie to like one room, but you can skip it entirely. So second run lab is definitely easier, which is interesting.
My two favorite collectors being annoying stories over the past couple years that I can remember, which is all that my pea brain, goldfish brain can remember the past couple years. The first is a guy who was just like, it was like a slow Tuesday, and he was like, yeah, I have 3 box copies of Sculptor's Cut for 64. And I was like, okay. Yeah, he said, he was like, I'm thinking of selling one, but I don't know. And I was like, okay. And the second one was some guy, like, just gloating like heck that he had, like, 20 Sega Saturn games. And I, like, stood there. And George happened to be there, and the guy was just like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm starting got a pretty good Saturn collection so far. And I was like, I looked at George as if to say with my eyes, please do not tell this dude that I have a lot of Saturn stuff, because I do not want that. And he didn't. I'm
surprised, because George does not pick up social context at all.
But no, and to his credit, he didn't, because like I fully expected him to be like, oh, well, Spenser, and me be like, George, can you go do that thing in the back? What thing? You know, the thing you had to do in the back.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't have to do anything.
I guess I'll go do it. Anyway. So I was just standing there like, please, dude. Like, it's different, like, if someone, I want to make it clear, if someone's like, I have a small game collection that I'm, like, really proud of and I'm working on it, I'm like, that's awesome, dude.
We're not elitist. It's just when collectors act elitist, it's like, you are not cool to us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to like gloat about something, but
maybe
I do not care.
Maybe at other places, I don't know, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Like, maybe that's just like they enjoy that, but I don't need to hear someone gloating about anything. They could be like, I don't know, even when Pats fans are gloating to me, like, oh yeah, we got 6 rings, baby. I'm like, stop it.
If you want a way into my heart, and I know I have the coldest, darkest heart in the world, all you have to do is be like, I collect games, but I hate collectors. And I'm like,
there we go.
My dude, you are the coolest.
Yep. Trevor had someone last week that was like, yeah, you ever hear this game, Kuon?
Yeah, it literally, like, he started the conversation like that. I was like, oh yeah, really rare PS2 game. He was like, yeah, I have a copy of it.
Dude, what you should be is like, since I literally played the whole stupid game the whole way through, be like, did you get to the third quest?
Yeah. What's the plot of that game? I never knew. Could you explain it to me?
Well, even if they say something about cocoons, I'd be like verified.
It'd just be like,
that's enough.
There's a tree that does something, and you have to encase a human in a cocoon. It's
done.
Like,
I'd be like, that's fine.
You passed the test.
That's all I remember. All I remember from that is that you play as 2 people, and then you unlock a third, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, and immortality is a monkey's paw. Who would have guessed?
What in the heck is that?
What?
On the ground. Is that like...
I think it's just some guy with a...
It's bigger than a normal guy. Or no, still looks pretty dang big.
Yeah, actually, I never noticed that. That does look really weird.
Right? Like, it looks way bigger than a normal guy.
Maybe it's someone that Birkin implanted, and he's in the process of mutating to a G-adult. I don't know.
That is like,
I actually never noticed.
I was like, is that person 10 feet tall? What in the world? But the weird thing is and I don't know if they like just kind of missed this, but like his yellow suit isn't like ripping. So, like, was he just a 9-foot tall guy that
Yeah.
happened to work? Oh, whatever.
It's
Who cares?
funny
This game's
when-
good, so.
It's funny when you play a game, because I've done the labs at this point 100 times, and you just never notice that without, like, outside influence. I'm just like, oh, that is really weird.
And there's a lot of stuff I missed, but for some reason I was like, what in the crap is that? But yeah, I guess that's just our, no matter what you do, just don't be elitist. Like, you could literally have the greatest video game collection in the world, and that's fine.
Yeah, and there's
Just
like
be cool.
there's some collectors that come in here, like, you know, what's the big ginger guy's name? Do you know? That has the complete N64 collection and some other stuff.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah, like, he has a massive collection, but he, like, never gloats about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
he
yeah,
might be like, did you see this thing? And I'm like, oh. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, it's fine. Just, you can talk about it. But the second you start to gloat, like, I'm out. Like, I'm mentally out. I'm still there physically, because I have to be.
Yeah.
But I'm mentally out.
It's like, we just hear about this stuff all the time. I've heard everything. Everything. At
Yeah.
least once.
I bought this at Goodwill for $2. No, you didn't. Sorry, because Goodwill, literally, every Goodwill near us, one of two things
Yeah,
happens.
they sell it on
They
Amazon.
either sell it online on Amazon or eBay, and I know for a fact because it'll say sold by Goodwill. For, like, a lot of times Goodwill, like, eBay auctions or buy it now are, like, more expensive than other, like, listings. Or the people that work at Goodwill, like, buy everything before it even goes out to the shelf. That is absolutely how it works. 100%. At least, and maybe not in your area for some reason, I don't know, but in Lancaster County, every single one is picked free before the stuff goes out to the shelf. 100%. So don't be like, I found this. Like, that's, what are you, you're trying to impress me, bro?
The way to make it believable is, like, you know, like a $50 game or something like that, being like, I found that at Goodwill for a couple bucks. I'm like, yeah, I could believe that. It's not like a game that resellers would be, like, foaming at the mouth for, so maybe they might not even know about it, but...
Or like a
I
yard
remember-
sale, that stuff still happens.
I remember a couple years ago someone told me they found a sealed SMRPG at a Goodwill. I'm like,
$2.
yeah, sure. A sealed SMRPG, okay.
It was $1.99, and I talked him down. Dude, still the best. The best buy I ever got. This was literally 10 years ago, because I think it was before the store even opened. I was out in Jersey just going to a bunch of different, like, flea markets and stuff, and this was at a time where you could still go to flea markets, and it wouldn't be like, hi, this is more expensive than it is online. And on the way back, there was just a random yard sale, and I got out and was like, hey, do you have any video games? And they were like, no. And they were like, oh wait, I have this box. And it was like 20 or 25 Sega Saturn mint RPGs. Like Atlas stuff, Dragon Force, Shining Force 3, all those weird Atlas ones, like Lunacy and stuff like that. And I was like, how much? And they were like, I don't know, like $50 for the box. And I was like,
it's like a once in a
I was
lifetime
like,
thing.
how about 70? Sometimes when people like it's too cheap, I'm like, how about like a little more, you know? But I was like, I was like,
Yeah,
but that's like literally 10
years before everything was the worst.
It's never gonna happen again. The only...
Dude,
oh god, I'm dying.
Vengeful collectors are attacking Spenser Spirit.
And that'll never happen again. The only way it can possibly happen is if you, I guess, know someone personally and they're like, or like someone close to you leaves you something or someone passes or whatever. There's just no other way around it. It's so easy nowadays to just look something up, you know? Like, when I'm looking through, like, random toys we have at the store to put stuff out, all I have to do is just scan the UPC on my phone. And then eBay's like, it's this much. It's so easy, you know? And in a way that stinks, because the knowledge you would have, like we would have, or say a comic person, the knowledge a comic person would have, it doesn't matter anymore, because you just scan it in, you know? That's kind of a shame.
Yeah, and the saddest part is that you can... Back in the day, it was like one of those things where you can be like, okay, this game is this much online, but it's like, how many people were actually buying it? But like, nowadays, like, you can say that this game is going for this much, and it's like, yeah, people are buying it, because like, so many people like invest in video games now, so they just buy anything for any price.
Pretty much. So... What was that? Oh, Sugar's literally at the top of the stairs, and she's
Waiting for you like a
she's literally sniffing under the door. I was like, "What is that?" I heard. That's kind of scary.
All right. So don't need this. Do need that. All right. So we're gonna be doing Birkin 3 with acid rounds, and the way that Birkin works with acid rounds is that it's a hard stun every single round, so the acid grenades are amazing for this fight. And in general, I like to have the SLS with 5 enhanced rounds, submachine gun with 400 bullets, and the grenade launcher with as many acid rounds as I can do, and then some healing. So this fight is a little bit longer as Claire, but it is a lot safer. Nah, I should save just in case. You never know what the dog's gonna do.
Hey, look at this. Look at, what do they call it, a MacGuffin? Look at this MacGuffin.
Yeah, literally MacGuffin. I mean, in both games, it doesn't really make any sense for Sherry to have a pendant with, in the original game, it was like the G vaccine or the actual virus. And in this game, it's like a MacGuffin to open up the vault. It's like, okay.
By the way, how'd you like that new artwork at the top of the stairs?
I didn't see it. I'll have to see it after.
I can't believe you missed it. Hey, do you remember in my favorite movie, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, where the main character holds up, like, just so happens to be on the right part of a planet at the right exact area, and she holds up, like, a compass thing, and it lines up perfectly with the ruined part of the Death Star, even though the MacGuffin was made like 1,000 years ago.
You did that?
What?
Oh, okay. I
No,
thought you were
no.
talking about that art. I was like, what?
It does have to do with Rise of Skywalker, though, but it's much classier than that. I'll just tell the folks if that's okay. It's you know those things that say like live, laugh, love or whatever in like the stupid font or whatever.
Yeah.
I got Patrick to make one of those, to like literally design it himself, where it says somehow Palpatine returned.
It's funny that Spenser is making fun of the live, laugh, love things, but I could totally see his wife unironically getting that.
Go find one. It's not there.
I bet you vetoed it. I bet that's what you're doing.
I let her literally put whatever she wants upstairs, and she lets me put whatever I want down here. And it's a great in between.
Not that I'm saying that Ashley sucks. She's just a normie.
The stuff that she would have would more likely be like
I guess it would be just
witchy stuff and stuff like that.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. I'm a normie game guy, I guess. You know, with my. It sucks because video games are so popular now that nothing is not normie. You know, unless you only play visual novels, I guess. But even something like, do you remember that one where it was like? It's like Happy something something. It's where you Visual Club or whatever, where you play as a bunch of Japanese schoolgirls, and it's a visual novel. But then it becomes all weird. Even that was like everywhere. Like everyone was playing it.
Yeah, that was a huge Twitch Zoomer meme game.
Yeah. So the question becomes, here's the question of the part. Like 40 minutes in, what is the least accessible series of games? Like, our type of games. It's like roguelikes, right? Although people kind of like that stuff
I would
nowadays.
say grand strategy, but roguelikes are high up there.
Yeah, but the game Returnal on PS5 is literally... Excuse me, sorry about that. Literally a roguelike.
Yeah, but it's like a shooter roguelike. At least it has some accessibility to it.
What's a grand strategy? Like...
It's like
StarCraft?
No, it's way more in-depth than StarCraft. That's just a regular RTS.
Not like
Grand
Rome
strat-
Total War or anything like
Grand
that. Right?
strategy is basically you staring at like a world map and like dictating troops through like text menus.
Okay.
And like usually you can like do a campaign of literal centuries or millennia.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about NES games like that, like Nobunaga's Ambition?
Not quite grand strategy, but that is
strategy. On the general thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in general, this fight, what you want to do is always have the acid rounds loaded into your gun as much as possible to keep hard stunning them over and over.
I think I said this during the Leon part, but I think even if I survived this far and I saw this version of Birkin, I would just shoot myself in the head and be like, I'm good.
Rip, no damage.
Like, Claire's an absolute... Oh my god, that put you to danger automatically?
Oh yeah, everything in hardcore.
Oh yeah, it's hardcore, that's right. I didn't realize Trevor was playing on hardcore because he's been doing it so good. Nice!
Okay, he's in his third phase already, but that's fine. Whenever he's in his third phase, once you figure out that he does a scripted attack where he goes to the wall, pulls off the panel, you can just shoot him to the point where he basically has 0 HP.
And he takes damage without being hit in the eyes.
Yes. It's not as much as the eyes, but you can still do it. But yeah, just keep your distance.
Nice.
I did that fight pretty aggressively, and honestly, you can do that fight. A really easy way to do Claire in general is whenever you get any gunpowders, just mix exclusively acid rounds. And if you enter that battle with, I want to say about 30 acid rounds, you can just stun loop him over and over until he's dead. But it's boring.
Yeah.
Alright, all I really want is... I didn't even need to pick up that flash grenade. All I really want is the hand grenade.
What the heck was I talking about before that fight? That's my goldfish memory.
I don't know. I was paying attention too hard.